Hi Rockstars, this video is about how to actually add the line of best fit or trend line to your scatter plot. At this point, you have a graph made. Your graph includes the average for your 5 trials, and your data is quantitative, so you're comparing different amounts and seeing how those different amounts affect your outcome. So this is the third video in the series. If you do not have a rotated data table, a graph with the average of it, and a you'll need those, and this in a graph that looks something like this. Go ahead and go back to your previous videos in the series and do that first. So those of you that went directly from this video, from the previous video to this video, you already have the chart editor up. Those of you that have not, I do want to show you how to bring it up in case you lose the chart editor. The first thing you need to do is click on the chart itself. That puts this, you selected it, so it's now in blue, and it brings up these 3 dots. So go ahead and click on the 3 dots, and the first option is Edit Chart, and that brings back up the chart editor. So when last time we left, we were here in Setup. So we are done with Setup. We're going to now go in the chart editor to Customize. So click on Customize. There's a lot of options in chart editor. Under Customize, we are only going to be talking about adding your trend line right now. So we only need to work in series. So there's chart style, the titles, series, legend, horizontal axis, vertical axis. We need series. So click on series. We need a trend line of the data. We need a line of best fit for the data. That line is looking at for each of these heights, right? For each of these heights, what is the average outcome? Right? For each of these heights, what is the average outcome? And what is the relationship between the height and the outcome? So one of the steps we had to do before we made this graph was to actually calculate the average. So we don't want all series. This is trial 1. We don't want it to average together all the trial 1s. That's not, doesn't make any sense. Okay. We don't want to know what the average of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 meters are together averaged, right? We want to know what's the pattern as we change the heights, okay? As we change whatever this amount is here, what is the pattern on the average outcome? So just pick the last data series, which is your average. Go ahead and scroll down. And as you come down, you're going to see trend line. Click on trend line. That's going to bring up a new menu. So you can see this trend line is a line of best fit. It does not connect every average point. Instead, it's the line that best fits the average data. Okay, it's the line that best fits the average data. So we have a line of best fit. We could now go and measure the distance from here, right, where it clearly crosses an axis, to here, okay, and figure out what the run is, and then measure and figure out what the rise is, and calculate the slope. And then from calculating the slope, we could put different points in and work backwards to figure out the y-intercept. Or we can ask the spreadsheet to do that for us. So to do that, we're going to scroll down to label. And right now there is no label. If we figured out the equation on our own, we could type it here under custom, or we can just have the spreadsheet find the equation of that line for us. Right? So it has just saved us calculating the slope, and finding the y-intercept all in one thing. And it can actually do something called show R squared. So go ahead and click on show R squared. This tells you how well this data fits this line. So the R squared here equals 0.991. Right, so I have the equation, which is 0.5 times x plus 2.01, right, equals y. And then the R squared is 0.991. So we have now added a trend line or line of best fit to our equation, to our graph, using the chart editor. In the next video, we'll work on the lack of titles and labels in our graph and how to update and change that.